Hi guys, this is Jamie. So as you may have noticed or not noticed, and you will notice, is I am now post-op for my surgery, which is pretty much post-op, and also I did another surgery previously, but I keep that one a bit more personal. And I do have plans for Fallow in the future. So pretty much I did everything besides Fallow, and I'm very content with it. And when it comes to this video, I do want to address that I feel like a lot of trans people specifically overstep other trans people's boundaries. And I do want to say that I will sound very hypocritical because I will be saying my opinion as well. So I do feel like there's a lot of obviously misconceptions about surgery. There's a lot of different experiences about surgery, and different things of how trans people narrate their lives, how they talk about their past, how they talk about their present, and how they perceive things. So, in this soup of thoughts, I will start off with the elephant in the room, which is surgeries, because that's what I've been doing. That's where I've been. That's why I was away. So I haven't been replying to the spicy comments. And yeah. So basically, I really wanted to address that everyone sort of really shoehorns everyone into saying like, oh, top surgery, for instance, is the major surgery. And after getting it, yes, I do agree, it is a massive major surgery, and it does increase um, everything. You just feel better, you feel more pain. And everything is just better and more saturated. And all of a sudden you like put on shirts, you feel more flat. You just feel great, other than, when they check your chest and everything fills up. I also wanted to say that I don't want to go in depth on this, but if anyone wants to, and if anyone wants to, if anyone is in Portugal, please message me in fucking Portuguese and ask certain questions, and I will tell about my experience. Other than that, I do not have any wishes to talk about surgeries which are not accessible to other people, and to get sort of the surgeons I was under the bus, or sort of misconceptions. And I do feel like the surgeries which I went through were really great. I really appreciate my surgeons, and I do not want to hear any slander. But I will help if someone is in a similar situation, or if they want to get surgeries in Portugal, because it's a very lengthy process. It's worth it. And the methods are different of how they do it, but obviously you can still get methods which are more commonly used in the US and the UK and etc. And also, when you Google results, please keep in mind that there is nearly nothing online. Nothing. Why is it this? I have no idea. But I do understand that it comes from the fact, which is one of the topics today, that people do feel very entitled to other trans perspectives. And this is an issue which I wondered in the past, like, do I want to put my chest out there? Do I want to put my results out there? And obviously, for instance, I am on Grindr, and I will be putting like my shirtless pic, because everyone does it. I want my shirtless pic on Grindr. I'm sorry. But when it comes to for like educational purposes, I feel really weird just putting it out there for TERFs to go cut, for people to call my body mutilated, for people to say that, oh, but I didn't do like XYZ and I did a different way. So I'm not interested in that. And I will be sharing probably to close friends and etc. But it's still a personal surgery, and I hope that people do get to the point where they just do their own research with the surgeon. The surgeon should explain to you what he's gonna do. If you need to shop around surgeons, they will show you results. Please do not go asking people for this in really weird ways. So I do understand that a lot of people feel like, yeah, but how can I see it, or can I see a previous one? And this is also a thing I want to touch. So people really sort of think that cis people are the enemy. And like, for instance, like when I go on Grindr and people ask me about surgery stuff, sure, I get some invasive ones, but I feel like trans people are much more invasive and they're much more hateful. Because when I get, I'm trying to think, like maybe I've got five at most out of, I have no idea how many hundred guys I've talked to on Grindr. Where they ask stuff like, oh, wouldn't it be better if you didn't transition because you're gay and it's easier to get guys, and etc. And that's pretty much the top disrespectful ones I get. And the more time passes, in my experience, the more people get accepting. It's not just towards the fact that I've transitioned, but in general, I see that cis people become more accepting because times pass. People get more open-minded. It just so happens that sometimes you live in closeted places, sometimes you live in awful places. And obviously, like when I go back to my birth country, that is a whole different ordeal. But I really wanted to emphasize that if you're in a progressive place, things are getting better. And when it comes to trans people, there's a lot of sort of, yeah, well, you should share. You should do your research. You should patronize the doctor. You should do this. You should do that. And obviously there's a lot of, for instance, cases like in the NHS where you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going on in general in the NHS, which is going to get privatized. You have J.K. Rowling being an absolute bitch asshole. And I just wanted to say as well that anyone who supports J.K., regardless whether they're cis, trans, I don't care about sexuality, anything under the sun, there's no reason to support her. There was no reason to support her when she came out of the statements. And the fact that people are saying that they're shocked by her very, very openly blatant transphobia just makes me sick to my stomach. She made it clear by being transphobic from the get-go. If you support her then, you're shit. You're a shit person, I'm sorry. And if you stop supporting her now, you still should acknowledge that you did support a shit person. I'm not saying you should crucify yourself. I'm just saying that you should have known from the get-go. You didn't. Okay. But here she is, rampantly being transphobic. And I do understand that trans people think that their opinion as a trans person is the one which overrides other trans people, and I do understand that I also can be patronizing and say such things, but at the end of the day, I come here to say my opinion and what would offend me specifically, and what I think would offend people who think similarly. So, I'm not claiming to be the know at all of everything, but I do feel like when people say, oh, me, so when they refer to themselves as pre-transition, and they say, oh, when I was a little assigned gender at birth, I feel like it's very turfy. Because we do not do a transformation. We do not become a gender. We are born, if you want to call it the wrong body, sure. If you want to say that you were in the right body and etc., fine, and you just need to do surgeries. But the point is, we are born with a different assumption than what we really are. So why do people really, really want to focus on the fact that we were a different gender? I feel it's very turfy. And I really wish we would just move away from this language. And I do understand that it is very dominant in the trans woman community, trans femme community. And I have no place to talk about it, but I will talk about the trans guy part of it. So I do understand that over the years it's getting better. You don't have the videos of trans guys which pretty much open up and they're like, yeah, I'm a woman and I'm gonna transition to a guy, unless you're like Book Angel at this point. and whatever his lesbian manifesto was. So I do feel like we need to acknowledge that, in this case, trans guys are guys, obviously, and there is no but. And also, this goes back into the fact there was a recent TikTok, as I was made aware of a guy. I don't watch TikToks. Like, I do not have a TikTok account. I just like hear winds of them, or like someone sends them, etc. But I did hear that there was a guy who said, "I am not a trans guy. I'm just like any other guy, even though I'm trans." And he got hate for it because people started saying, "Oh, but trans guys are better," and we're not. Honestly, if you want to say that all guys are misogynistic, please throw me under that bus. I am just as problematic as, if you deem cis guys to be problematic, I'm just as problematic, for real. If you think that I'm not, I will do even... I'll probably jump over a burning pit just to prove a point that I can. Because to me, it's more important to... This is controversial, I know. But I'd rather be seen as someone bad just because a person is generalizing, rather than seen as someone good just because I'm trans. Yeah. So I do feel like this convo has been discussed. I've talked about it a lot as well in the past. And for instance, and specifically like members of the LGBT community are always like, well, Jamie, why don't you like proud of being trans? I'm not. I hate it. I hate the fact that I still have weeks to go until I can raise my arms properly, you know, like, not just my elbows, but, you know. And I fucking hate it. I fucking hate that I had to go through this journey. I fucking hate the fact that it took so long for me to get to the surgeries. I hate the fact that it took me so long to have tea. I hate the fact that so many things happened which are negative because of this. I hate that I was abused because of this. This is absolutely no reason for celebration. The only celebration I do understand is when you get surgeries, when you get tea, and you celebrate that you're on the right path from the fucked up thing that happens from your birth. Where people assume that you weren't a guy, in my case. And I do understand that some guys, some trans women, some non-binary people identify with it and say, like, when I was little, assigned gender at birth, but I do feel like it's TERF territory. And this is just my opinion. I'm not against it. I just feel like, specifically now in this day and age where people are saying that we are a gender we're not, a sex we're not, you know, it's not good to keep focusing on that, because surgeries do not make us more trans. Transition doesn't make us more trans. We were always trans. We were always our gender, in my opinion. And just because we were given a different sort of plate to work with from our birth than our cis counterparts doesn't make us less male, female, non-binary. So it really grinds my gears. And also, I do really, really get annoyed when people are like, oh yes, trans men are better than cis men. And it's very often comes from a place of woman being very hateful towards men. And it's like, honey, if you hate men, please hate me as well. Because I have a lot of negative experiences with women. And I just don't want to mingle with a woman who sees me inferior to a... or superior to a cis guy. And in general, my sexuality has been a very touchy subject for me, because I do not have any attraction towards women, even though I've had some in the past. I've addressed it, I've thought about it, I've thought about it even further. And I just feel like it comes from the place that people really expect me to be it. And at the end of the day, I end up sleeping like with, I don't know, 300 men? I have no idea. and like a few non-binary people. So my sexuality is literally guys and non-binary people. That's it. And I do identify as gay. Yes, I can go into a more interesting discussion whether I'm gay or queer, but I identify as gay. I do understand if someone wants to have a discussion with me whether I'm queer, for instance. I am not bisexual. I do not feel uncomfortable with that label. I want nothing to do with women. I'm happy with them being friends. I'm happy with friendships and nothing more beyond that. Sure, I can write some stories just because I write stories about everyone, but that's about it. But I have no interest. And I hate the fact that I had so much inner homophobia within me because of that I thought that maybe I was bisexual, etc. I'm not. And I really feel uncomfortable when people do press that, and then I go into the dynamics to explain like why exactly I'm not bisexual, why do I claim onto the gay tag so much? And then they're like, oh yeah, but I don't owe anyone explaining a full detail of my trauma, a full detail of my interactions with women. I'm not interested in that. Obviously, if I want to, I'll share. And I'm sure I've shared enough on my channel. So yeah. So what I want to say is that do your research. Please do not police other trans people. Have a think about language, because I do feel like it's TERFs when we say that when we were one gender, now we're another, you know? That's just me. So it's more of a position of discussion, rather. And I do feel weird at times because everyone is like subscribe, like everything, and we really do try to sort of advocate for us to get money on YouTube. And it feels really weird because we are in this really weird stage of capitalism where everyone needs money unless you're like someone who doesn't care if people die. But regardless, thank you very much for watching. Watch more, comment more, like more, and subscribe. Thank you.